Ask the Messengers, the program that deals with substance abuse, real people telling real stories. Hosted by Pastor Lester Lewis, co-host Charlize Wilkerson and Leroy Carey. Produced by David Humphreys. Where there is addiction, there is a chance for recovery. We're trying to help save lives on Ask the Messengers.
Hi, I'm your host, Lester Lewis, with Ask the Messengers. We have an exciting show on hand for you today. We're going to be talking about opioids and heroin. And our guest host today is Mr. Blaine Burks. Now, Mr. Blaine is a staff person here at Ask the Messengers. He is an addiction specialist who is going to help us to understand and know what's going on with the heroin use. Now, Blaine has a testimony also that he's going to share that will also be a blessing to you. And now, let's go to Blaine and to our guests as they discuss opioids and heroin use and how it affects people's lives.
My name is Blaine Burks, and I am a person of long-term recovery. And what that means is that I have invested almost 29 years of my life to being drug-free. I'm also a professional therapist, which means that I have been a professional therapist dealing with substance abuse issues for approximately 25 years. This has not been an easy journey, but it is one that has been well invested in me being able to gain the skills necessary to help those individuals that are struggling with drug and alcohol problems. Basically, most of the clients that I have dealt with have been those that have been the hardest to get recovery. And I have been very thankful for the opportunity to be able to talk about this on this show. Today we have a guest, Miss Paige. She is a recovering person that has approximately 1 year clean. And Paige, could you tell me, how has your addiction impacted on you? How has it affected you?
My addiction literally destroyed my life. It took me places, such dark places that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
How do you feel like your addiction has impacted you?
My addiction impacted me in every area of my life. It made me feel useless, hopeless, desperate at times, lost, fear. It was a life that I was born into, and I thought that was how I was supposed to live until I found the program.
How do you feel that you're about your recovery? Now that you're in recovery now and have almost a year clean, how do you feel about your recovery?
Oh my God, recovery changed my life. You know, I've tried this several times, and until I became totally beaten and admitted that I was an addict is when my life began to change. I had to totally surrender to this program. I had to be willing to change everything about me in order for this to work. You know, I'm got a year clean, and my life is so different than it was in my active addiction. I'm grateful for this program. My life is changing for the better.
So how long had you been addicted to opiate or heroin?
I've been in my disease, in my active addiction for over 35 years. 35 years? 35 years.
And you're just now getting to the point where you want to recover from this.
Oh, I was so beaten. I was so lost. My last high, you know, I had used heroin for over 35 years. Excuse me, for over 35 years, and I never OD'd in my life. And somebody gave me that carfentanil, and they mixed with the heroin, and I OD'd. And when I woke up, for a long time I thought I wanted to die, but when I woke up from that OD, I knew at that moment that my life had to change, and I was going to do whatever it took to change it.
Okay, so primarily you have been lived in the suburbs, right?
Yes.
And they have now what they call now is what I call an opidemic. It's an overwhelming use of heroin or opiate substances that people have become dependent upon, yes, and that has basically destroyed a whole generation of individuals. How do you see the opiate epidemic impacting those individuals out in the suburbs?
Oh my God, I think it's starting a lot younger. The kids I'm finding that kids that are 15 and 16 are indulging. But for me, it was, I started with prescription drugs, you know, and then I realized that the prescription drugs were no longer giving me the effect that I needed, and then I moved to the heroin, and the heroin's a lot different than it used to be. Not saying that it was ever good, but I am saying that it's got more chemicals that are causing a lot more effects to these children and just the people, period, in our disease. But
what do you feel is the solution to the opioid abuse and dependence for individuals out in the suburbs?
Well, I certainly don't think it's jails. I certainly think that our first thing we have to do is we have to admit that we have a problem. And then once we admit that we have a problem, seek help. We can find help just about anywhere. You know, going to your local police station, to the hospital. You know, because it's so known now, so many people are willing to help. I think a lot of parents need to get more involved. I think to reach out to our children and to our families that are out there suffering. I think that the programs, the therapists such as yourself, offer so much help, and we're blessed because it wasn't always like this. And I really think that we just got to get honest with ourselves and tell ourselves that, you know, this is not where my life is supposed to be.
Okay, if you had an opportunity to talk about the impact, not only the impact, but where your life is today as a result of being clean a year. How do you feel about that?
Oh my God, my life has changed. I mean, I'm nowhere where I'm supposed to be, but it's so different than from where I used to be. I'm in school. I have a job. I'm connecting with my family, my children that I've never thought in a million years that would ever want me in their life. I'm connecting with my children. I'm learning how to have relationships. So what I mean by relationships, I mean with men and women, because I was so consumed in my disease that it affected a lot of areas of my life where was a lot of relationships. I didn't know how to have relationships with people, period.
If you could tell the audience or people that need help or are seeking help, where they could go or what they need to do, what would you suggest?
I would suggest to reach out. We have a 1-800 number in Narcotics Anonymous. Go to your police station. Tell your parents. Tell your spouse. There's help everywhere. I mean, this epidemic is so overwhelming that there's help just about anywhere. And like I said, you can go to your police station. You can go to the hospital.
Okay, I'd like to thank you very much for coming out and sharing this information with us. And hopefully at some point in time in the future, you'll be able to reach out and continue to help other individuals as you have today. I'd like to thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
April is Alcohol Awareness Month. This year's theme is Changing Attitudes. It's not a rite of passage. For more information about the impact of alcohol and other drug use and what NCADD is doing to help, visit our website at www.ncadd-detroit.org, where you can also donate to our organization and help save a life. Or better yet, stop in our office, which is located right in the very community we serve at 2400 East McNichols, Detroit, Michigan.
When an auto accident interrupts your peace of mind, your family, your life.
The law firm is the only law firm that will truly help you. They treated me like family and communicated every detail of my case. Not only are they here to fight, the law firm is here to help you.
I'm Sherry Lobb of the Lobb Law Firm. Helping you in an auto accident is our #1 priority. Call today for a free consultation. 855-HELP-YOU.
I'm Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Head Injury, where restoring you to your previous level of functioning is our goal. We offer services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, aquatic therapy, massage therapy, and counseling. An automobile accident is an unfortunate event. If you feel that you or a loved one can benefit from our services, you can be reached at 248-415-2500. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Greaser, the Office Manager at Premier Supportive Services. Here at Premier, we offer a variety of services that include residential service, 24-hour residential, attended care, semi-independent, as well as many other services. So if you know of anyone that has been involved in a car accident, we are located at 17555 James Cousin, Suite 2, or you can give us a call at 313-345-3668.
Hi, my name is Brenda Owens. I work at Greenfield Hair Collections, and I love doing hair. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, actually. And I do a little bit of everything. This style right here is pin curl. This is my weekly client, Lenise, short and sassy. She just got a fresh haircut last week. The name of the salon is Greenfield Hair Collections. We're located on Greenfield between Outer Drive and Curtis. I'm on the second level. My name is Brenda. My phone number is 313-729-8194. Give me a call. I love what I do.
Hello, this is your host, Lester Lewis, with Ask the Messengers. Today we have been talking with Blaine and our guests about opioids and heroin use. We're going to go back now as they continue the conversation. So here we go.
We'd like to thank you for coming back. We have Mr. Kevin P. Is my next guest when we're talking about opiate addictions. And Kevin, we'd like to thank you for coming out and sharing your story about your problems or struggles with heroin or opiate addictions. Could you tell us briefly a little bit about the issues that you faced when you were using those substances?
Okay. Yeah, Blaine, thanks. Thanks for having me. Man, issues. They say around the fellowship, issues is like tissues. They keep popping up. Where do I begin? Man, I've lost jobs, broken relationships, spent money that I didn't have, committed crimes, embarrassed myself, all in the name of getting one more blow. Issues just keep popping up. If it ain't one thing, it's another. And every time I thought that it was just something that I would chalk up to the game, not realizing that the way I was going and the way I was chasing the drugs, if I could only see now what I couldn't see then, or if I could only see then what I couldn't see now, however that go, I would have known that I was headed for a lifestyle of doom and gloom.
So how long had you been using opiate or heroin?
I started using heroin when I was 17. First time I used heroin, I used it intravenously. Right. I got introduced to it from an older guy in the neighborhood. And, you know, at the time, for me and several of my peers growing up in the black community at that time, and
what eras we talking about?
We're talking early 70s, mid 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
If you could go back now and do things all over again, what would you do differently than you have in the past before you got introduced to drugs on the addictive level?
If I could change the hands of time, and I say that all the time, I wouldn't have never allowed myself to become addicted to drugs. I would have went to school, got an education, got a good job, probably marry, raise a family. You know, do all the things that in this society that we coin as doing the right things, right?
Okay, we got what's called an opidemic, what I call an opidemic. I'm coining that phrase on this show. Where we seeing a proliferation of heroin and opiate use that is devastating the communities, the suburbs, and whatnot.
Sure.
And I believe that this epidemic didn't just start here recently as they trying to portray it, but it started back in the day.
Sure.
Could you tell me how that, how you feel that occurred in our community, in the African American community?
Sure, and I hope I don't go too long because I'm glad you brought that up. I'm very passionate about that subject because if you know, I know that before I was born even, that heroin was put into the black communities, and I hope I don't get too political, but heroin was put into the black communities, and they mentioned something like genocide, right? It was to destroy the black communities, right? And so now, with this opiate crisis, opiademic that we call it, you know, it has spilled over into some other communities, and now it's a big crisis. And I'm very passionate about this subject, and I probably would say some things that society on the whole don't agree with, but I get some real feelings about this here because...
Okay, let me ask you this. How has we ain't gonna just focus on the negative aspect of the problem that we're having with opiate. How has your recovery impacted and changed your life? How did you get introduced to recovery?
Man,
And how long have you been clean?
I've been clean 16 years. And if I could get on top of the highest mountain and shout across the country, life is good being clean, I would do that, right? My life is good being clean, okay? I got introduced to the program, and I resisted for a long time, but I got introduced to the program because I was thoroughly tired and beaten. And I came in, and I surrendered, and I began to get the help that I needed, and it's changed my life for the good.
So what do you feel like the solution is at this point in time to a person? If you knew a person was caught up in the throes of their addiction or strung out on heroin or opiate, what would you suggest for them?
Mm-hmm. You know, Blaine, and we talk a lot, man, and we know. I wish that I could wave my hand over and help every addict that has a problem with drugs. But that's not a reality. The thing is to keep pushing the fellowship, keep trying to help those that want to help, and then that's, I think in my mind, that's the only way that we can make an impact on this.
Okay. I'd like to thank Kevin for coming out and sharing his experiences and his knowledge and with the opiate and heroin use. And we'd like to thank you for coming out to Ask the Messenger and helping us carry this message to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Blaine.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
April is Alcohol Awareness Month. This year's theme is Changing Attitudes. It's not a rite of passage. For more information about the impact of alcohol and other drug use and what NCADD is doing to help, visit our website at www.ncadd-detroit.org, where you can also donate to our organization and help save a life. Or better yet, stop in our office, which is located right in the very community we serve at 2400 East McNichols, Detroit, Michigan.
Hi, my name is Brenda Owens. I work at Greenfield Hair Collections, and I love doing hair. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, actually. And I do a little bit of everything. This style right here is a pin curl. This is my weekly client, Lenise, short and sassy. She just got a fresh haircut last week. The name of the salon is Greenfield Hair Collective. We're located on Greenfield between Otter Drive and Curtis. I'm on the second level. My name is Brenda. My phone number is 313-729-8194. Give me a call. I love what I do.
I'm Artesia Washington, and I'd like to welcome you to Irvine Head Injury, where restoring you to your previous level of functioning is our goal. We offer services such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech and language pathology, aquatic therapy, massage therapy, and counseling. An automobile accident is an unfortunate event. If you feel that you or a loved one can benefit from our services, you can be reached at 248-415-2500. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I'm Ashley Greaser, the Office Manager at Premier Supportive Services. Here at Premier, we offer a variety of services that include residential service, 24-hour residential, attended care, semi-independent, as well as many other services. So if you know of anyone that has been involved in a car accident, we are located at 17555 James Cousin, Suite 2, or you can give us a call at 313-345-3668.
Thank you for calling the Lob Law Firm.
Injured? We can help. Call the Lob Law Firm today. Call for free consultation. 855-HELP-YOU. Millions of dollars have been recovered. No recovery, no fee. Over 40 years experience. Don't trust the insurance adjuster. The insurance adjuster works for the insurance company. But we work for you. Call today. 855-HELP-YOU. That's the Law Firm. And remember, your choice of lawyer makes a big difference.
And now we go to final words from Blaine.
We'd like to thank the two guests, Paige and Kevin P., for coming out and sharing their knowledge and their experiences with the opiate use. As I said earlier, I have coined a new phrase which I think is appropriate for what we see that's occurring in the community. I'm calling it an opidemic. This is an opidemic of individuals or people that opiate use and heroin use has caused dependency or use that is impacted a particular geographical, economic, or social group. I have dedicated over 25 years of my life to fight the struggle of people, helping people using substances, primarily heroin and opiate users. The message that we want to really get across to the community or to people is that there is a possibility of hope. I have dedicated almost 29 years to my recovery. Of God's grace and mercy, the 28th of next month, I will celebrate 29 years of being substance free. And I back up what I say and what I do by being actively involved with providing services to those individuals that are struggling from the use of substance abuse.
From everyone here at Ask the Messengers, we'd like to thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's show. We just want you to know that the Ask the Messengers is here to help save lives. And we have a number of opportunities if you are in addiction or if you want to come to one of the meetings here at our facility. We welcome you with open arms. Our address is 18400 Schaefer Highway, and we're just north of the Lodge Freeway. And so meetings happen on Wednesdays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also on Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Please come on by. We'd be glad to have you at one of the meetings. And we want to just ask you and make this request of you. This show is obviously helping save lives. Won't you consider giving a donation, a generous donation to our effort as we help to get the word out and to share resources with those who may be struggling. The information is there on the screen. Please, within your heart, consider how much you desire to give toward this effort. There is a prayer that I'd like to close with, and it is a prayer in which the recovery community has embraced. And the prayer is very simple, and it goes like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. We'll see you next time on Ask the Messengers.
So this is living. Every single day is like a blessing we've been given. I keep my scars hidden behind the bars of this prison. I keep my flaws tucked right behind my front, sucking up this blunt. I don't give a... Hey, what's up? How you been? Cool, man. I'm doing me. Chiller than the Arctic, but burning like a 3rd degree. I'm open like a surgery. I'm searching for a crutch. It's as natural as putting antiseptic on a cut. Heal me. I fiend for my fix. There's a void on the inside. I fill it up with fluff to avoid where my sins lie. I'm talking puppy dogs and ice cream. Caffeine, nicotine, puffing on a pipe dream. Daddy needs a new pair of anything. Maybe you relate. Lay your head upon my pillow, wake up with a clean slate. I thought that if I found out who I was, away from anything I'd ever tried to use to catch a buzz, I would build a better me. So I did, delving into all the hurt I had hid since a kid. Anytime I felt the urge, I would hold on. I want to reach the other side. My goal's to be headstrong when right feels dead wrong, when night feels too long, when life feels too long, when hindsight is blinding and reminding us to hold on. You're not alone. We've all been there together. We're facing the storm because bad weather ain't forever. We're breaking the norm to see if maybe there is more, but we'll never know until we're on the other side of that door. I don't want to use you for anything, abuse you for anything, or lose you to anything. Love is not obsession. There are no strings attached, so I can't love you if I'm like, yeah, but there's a catch. I want freedom from desire because this moment is real. They speak about courage, but they don't own how they feel. I want to scream truth, just to hear it echo back. I don't need your validation. This is truly where I'm at. See, this poem is for the lost and the found, who've been tossed to the ground, who've been crossed by their friends. Get up, stand your ground again. Make your heart the strongest muscle that you've got, then let it guide you in the dark till you reach the other side.